Good evening, everyone. Today, I want us to take a step back and reflect. We are living in the most connected era in history. The world is at our fingertips, literally. Social media promises connection, validation, and even happiness. But let me ask you, how many of us have felt more disconnected, more anxious, and more dissatisfied with our lives after spending time on it? We must confront an uncomfortable truth. Social media is not a harmless tool. It is a force that, if left unchecked, will slowly erode our happiness, our relationships, and our sense of self. As human beings, comparison is built into our very nature. It's how we learn, how we measure progress, and how we strive to do better. In the right context, it can even inspire us to grow. But social media has turned what was once a natural and sometimes healthy mechanism into an unhealthy obsession. Think about the way we interact with social media. Every time you open your feed, you're met with a barrage of curated content, glowing vacation photos, perfectly plated meals, gym selfies with abs that seem unattainable, or posts about someone's new promotion, new car, or new relationship. Now, none of these things are inherently bad. In fact, many of them are celebratory moments for the people posting them. But here's where the issue lies. We don't compare our whole selves, our struggles, our insecurities, our behind-the-scenes reality with their carefully selected highlights. Instead, we compare our lowest moments to their peak moments, their polished and edited versions of life. And in that unfair comparison, we always seem to come up short. It's important to remember that what we see on social media is not reality. It's a filtered reality. People don't post about the arguments they had before that perfect couple's photo. They don't show you the debt behind the fancy car or the hours of stress behind that promotion. They show you what they want you to see: a life that looks flawless, exciting, and enviable. But when you're on the receiving end of that content, it doesn't feel curated. It feels real. And when you scroll through your feed, post after post, it creates a silent narrative in your mind. Why is their life so much better than mine? Why don't I look like that? Why don't I look like that? Why don't I have those opportunities? This constant comparison breeds discontentment. It makes us feel inadequate, even when we're achieving great things in our own lives. The problem isn't that we aren't doing enough, it's that we're focusing on the wrong metrics. Social media tricks us into measuring success by likes, followers, and external validation instead of internal fulfillment, meaningful relationships, and personal growth. And here's where it gets even more dangerous. This comparison often leads to a downward spiral. The more inadequate you feel, the more you scroll, searching for something to make you feel better. You might start posting more, hoping to get the validation you crave through likes and comments. But even when you get them, it doesn't feel like enough. The cycle repeats, and before you know it, your self-worth is tied to a screen, to the approval of people who may not even know the real you. Studies have shown that excessive social media use is strongly linked to feelings of envy, low self-esteem, and depression. Why? Because we're constantly reminded of what we think we lack. And the saddest part is it's an illusion. Social media creates a distorted mirror that reflects not who we are, but who we think we should be, based on everyone else's seemingly perfect lives. So what can we do about this? The first step is awareness. Understand that what you see on social media is not the full story. It's a highlight reel. The second step is to limit your exposure. Set boundaries around your social media use. Take breaks. Unfollow accounts that make you feel less than or create a false sense of inadequacy. We live in an age where speed is everything. With just a few taps on your phone, you can order food, stream your favorite shows, or even have a product delivered to your doorstep within hours. Social media fits perfectly into this culture of instant gratification. It gives us quick bursts of validation, entertainment, and connection. But beneath the surface, this constant pursuit of immediate rewards is eroding our ability to delay gratification, which is a cornerstone of long-term success and fulfillment. Let's break this down. Every time you post a picture, tweet, or status update, you're putting yourself out there in the hopes of receiving instant feedback, likes, comments, shares, or retweets. And when those notifications start rolling in, you feel a surge of dopamine, The brains feel good. Chemical. It's a temporary high, a fleeting moment of satisfaction. But here's the problem: the more you rely on this kind of validation, the more you need it to feel good about yourself. Over time, this rewires your brain. You start to crave the quick hit of approval rather than the deeper, more meaningful sense of achievement that comes from hard work and perseverance. Instead of working toward long-term goals, you're drawn to the short-term rewards that social media provides. I think about this: how often do you check your phone during moments of boredom or discomfort? You might open Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook for a quick scroll to distract yourself or feel entertained. But what you're really doing is training yourself to avoid patience, focus, and the ability to sit with your thoughts. This constant need for instant gratification doesn't just affect your time, it affects your mindset. It makes you less resilient. When you don't see immediate results in your work, relationships, or personal goals, you're more likely to give up. Social media has conditioned us to expect quick wins, but life doesn't work that way. Real success, meaningful relationships, and personal growth take time. They require consistency, effort, and the ability to push through discomfort. Let's take an example. Imagine you set a goal to get in shape. You know it takes weeks, even months of consistent effort to see significant results. But while you're working out, you see influencers on social media flaunting perfect bodies with captions like 10 days to abs. Or this one drink changed my life. Subconsciously, you start to question whether all your hard work is even worth it. Social media's culture of instant gratification creates unrealistic expectations, making the slow and steady path feel frustrating and pointless. And when we can't meet those impossible standards, we feel like failures, even though we were making real progress in our own time. It's not just about personal goals either. Social media's instant feedback loop spills into how we approach relationships, careers, and even happiness. We expect relationships to be perfect without effort, careers to take off without struggle, and happiness to come without reflection or gratitude. When life doesn't give us those quick wins, we become discouraged, impatient, and dissatisfied. But here's the truth: anything worth having in life takes time. Whether it's building a career, nurturing a relationship, or achieving a dream, real success is the result of delayed gratification, of choosing to work hard today for rewards that may not come for months, years, or even decades. So how do we break free from this cycle of instant gratification? First, recognize that the dopamine hit from social media is a quick fix, not a solution. It's like junk food for your brain. It feels good in the moment, but leaves you empty and craving more. Second, start training yourself to delay gratification in small, intentional ways. Set goals that require effort over time and celebrate the process, not just the outcome. For example, if you're writing a book, don't focus solely on finishing it. Find joy in the daily discipline of writing. If you're working on your fitness, celebrate showing up for your workouts, not just the number on the scale. Human connection is the foundation of our well-being. It's what gives life meaning, what grounds us, and what brings us joy. Yet, in a world dominated by social media, the depth and authenticity of our relationships are being replaced by shallow interactions and digital illusions. Social media is not just altering the way we connect, it's destroying the real, meaningful relationships that sustain us. Take a moment to reflect on how social media has crept into your relationships. You're sitting across the table from a friend, partner, or family member, yet your eyes are glued to your phone. Instead of engaging in a heartfelt conversation, you're scrolling, liking, commenting, and sharing. This isn't just a moment of distraction. It's a missed opportunity to connect on a deeper level. The irony is that social media was designed to bring people closer, but it often drives them apart. We've become so consumed with presenting an ideal version of ourselves online that we neglect the people right in front of us. We're more concerned with how our lives look to others than how our lives feel in reality. And this shift in priorities comes at a cost. Superficial connections vs. deep bonds. Social media creates the illusion of connection. You have hundreds, maybe thousands of friends or followers. You exchange comments and messages, send emojis, and keep up with each other's posts. But are these interactions truly meaningful? Are these people really part of your inner circle? The truth is, many of these connections are surface level. They lack the depth, trust, and vulnerability that define real relationships. Social media encourages us to maintain a wide network of acquaintances, but leaves us starved for the deep, intimate bonds that come from spending quality time with people who genuinely care about us. Real relationships require effort, time spent together, open conversations, and shared experiences. But when we're constantly distracted by our phones, we fail to invest in these things. Instead, we settle for a quick like or a short message, thinking it's enough to maintain a relationship. Over time, this erodes the trust and closeness that real relationships are built on. Another way social media destroys relationships is by fostering comparison and resentment. When you scroll through your feed, you see friends posting about their new homes, vacations, promotions, or happy moments with their families. While you may feel happy for them on the surface, it's easy to fall into the trap of comparison. You might start questioning your own life. Why are we going on vacations like that? Why don't I have a relationship like theirs? Why does their life seem so much better than mine? This comparison can breed jealousy, envy, and even resentment, straining your relationships with the people you care about. And here's the kicker, the polished, perfect lives you see on social media are rarely the full picture. Behind every smiling photo is a story you don't know, a struggle, a setback, or a challenge. But because we're only seeing the highlight reels, we compare our full reality to someone else's curated version of success and happiness. The decline of face-to-face communication. Social media has also changed the way we communicate, and not for the better. Face-to-face conversations with all their nuances, body language, tone of voice, eye contact are being replaced by texts, DMs, and comments. While these digital interactions are convenient, they lack the emotional depth and connection of real-life conversations. When you rely on social media to communicate, you miss out on the unspoken elements of communication that build trust and understanding. You can't see the smile in someone's eyes, hear the warmth in their voice, or feel the reassurance of their presence. Over time, this leads to misunderstandings, misinterpretations, and a sense of emotional distance. Social media and loneliness. Here's the paradox: social media makes us feel more connected than ever, but studies show that heavy social media use is strongly linked to loneliness. Why? Because the connections we're building online aren't fulfilling the human need for deep, meaningful relationships. We may have hundreds of people to message, but we don't have someone to sit with us in silence when we're hurting. We may get dozens of likes on a post, but we don't have someone to laugh with us over coffee. The more time we spend online, the less time we spend cultivating the relationships that truly matter. The path to rebuilding real relationships. So, how do we reclaim our relationships in the age of social media? Be present when you're with someone. Put your phone away. Give them your full attention. Listen not just to their words, but to their emotions. Show them that they matter more than your notifications. Limit your screen time, set boundaries around your social media use. Decide on specific times when you'll check your phone and stick to them. Use the time you save to connect with loved ones in person. Prioritize depth over quantity. Focus on building a few meaningful relationships rather than trying to maintain connections with hundreds of people online. Invest time, energy, and vulnerability to the relationships that truly matter. Communicate openly. Don't let social media be the primary way you communicate. Make an effort to have face-to-face or voice-to-voice conversations. Share your thoughts, feelings, and experiences in a way that fosters understanding and connection. Recognize the illusion. Understand that what you see on social media is not the full story. Don't let it create unrealistic expectations for your relationships or make you feel inadequate. In our hyper-connected world, social media has become an inseparable part of our daily lives. While it promises connection, creativity, and community, the reality is that it often comes at a significant cost to our mental health. Beneath the surface of polished posts and endless scrolling lies a silent battle, a battle many are fighting, but few openly discuss. Social media, for all its allure, is systematically undermining our mental well-being. The illusion of perfection. When you scroll through your social media feed, what do you see? Smiling faces, luxurious vacations, new accomplishments, and picture-perfect moments. It's a highlight reel carefully curated to showcase the best parts of people's lives. But here's the catch: it's not real. Behind those perfect photos are struggles, insecurities, and challenges that are never shown. Yet, as we consume this content, we compare it to our own messy, unfiltered lives. We see someone's success and measure it against our failures. We see their joy and stack it against our struggles. This constant comparison creates an internal dialogue that whispers, "You're not good enough." It chips away at our self-esteem, making us feel inadequate, unworthy, and ultimately unhappy. Research has shown that frequent exposure to idealized images on social media is linked to increased feelings of depression, anxiety, and dissatisfaction with life. The more we consume these unrealistic portrayals, the more we believe the false narrative that everyone else has it all figured out while we're falling behind. The feedback loop of validation. Social media platforms are designed to keep us engaged, and one of their most powerful tools is the feedback loop of validation. Every comment or share triggers a release of dopamine in our brains, the same chemical associated with pleasure and reward. For a moment, we feel validated and seen. But this validation is fleeting. As the likes stop rolling in, the high fades, leaving us craving more. So we post again, hoping for a bigger response, a better reaction. Over time, our self-worth becomes tied to these digital metrics. We start to measure our value based on how many likes we get or how many followers we have. This dependency on external validation creates a dangerous cycle. When the validation doesn't come, or when it's less than we expected, it leads to feelings of rejection and inadequacy. We begin to question ourselves: why didn't they like my post? Am I not interesting enough? Am I not good enough? The truth is, no amount of likes or followers can fill the void created by a lack of self-acceptance. But social media trains us to seek validation externally rather than looking inward for our sense of worth. The constant pressure to perform. Social media doesn't just invite comparison, it demands performance. There's an unspoken pressure to present your life in a certain way, to keep up with trends, to stay relevant. This performance anxiety can be exhausting. You might feel the need to capture every moment: your meals, your travels, your workouts, not for your own enjoyment, but to share with others. You're not living in the moment, you're curating it. Over time, this pressure to perform turns simple joys into stress-inducing tasks. Instead of relaxing on a vacation, you're worried about getting the perfect shot for Instagram. Instead of celebrating an achievement, you're crafting the perfect caption to announce it. This performance-oriented mindset takes a toll on your mental health. It shifts your focus from experiencing life to presenting life. And when you're constantly performing, you lose touch with your authentic self. The loneliness paradox. Social media promises connection, but it often delivers loneliness. The more time we spend online, the less time we spend building real, meaningful relationships. A study found that heavy social media use is strongly linked to feelings of loneliness and social isolation. Why? Because the connections we form on social media lack the depth and intimacy of real-life relationships. A quick comment or a double tap on a photo can't replace a face-to-face conversation, a shared laugh, or a comforting hug. Moreover, social media can create a false sense of connection. You might feel like you're staying in touch with friends because you see their posts, but are you really connecting with them? Are you having meaningful conversations, or are you just scrolling past their highlights? This loneliness paradox is particularly harmful to mental health. Humans are wired for connection. We need deep, authentic relationships to thrive. But when we substitute real connection with virtual interaction, we deprive ourselves of the emotional nourishment we need. The 24/7 news cycle. Another way social media undermines mental health is by exposing us to a constant stream of negative news. From political conflicts to natural disasters to personal tragedies, social media amplifies the world's problems and delivers them straight to our screens. This 24/7 news cycle can be overwhelming. It creates a sense of helplessness and despair, making it difficult to focus on the positive aspects of life. Over time, this constant exposure to negativity can contribute to anxiety, stress, and even depression. Reclaiming your mental health. The good news is that we have the power to take back control. While social media can harm mental health, we can use it mindfully and intentionally to minimize its negative effects. Set boundaries, limit your time on social media. Use apps to track your usage and set daily limits. Create tech-free zones or times, such as during meals or before bed. Practice mindful consumption. Be intentional about what you consume. Unfollow accounts that make you feel inadequate or anxious and follow those that inspire and uplift you. Focus on real connections. Invest in face-to-face interactions. Call a friend, have a conversation, or spend time with loved ones without distractions. Seek internal validation work on building your self-esteem and self-worth from within. Practice self-compassion, gratitude, and positive affirmations. Social media, for all its innovations and conveniences, has become a double-edged sword in our lives. While it connects us to the world, it often disconnects us from ourselves and those closest to us. It amplifies unhealthy comparisons, fuels the addiction to instant gratification, erodes genuine relationships, and takes a heavy toll on our mental health. But we are not powerless. We have the ability to choose how we engage with this tool. We can step back, evaluate its impact, and make intentional choices to use it in ways that serve us rather than harm us. By setting boundaries, fostering meaningful real-world connections, and focusing on internal growth rather than external validation, we can reclaim our time, our relationships, and our mental clarity. The truth is, your life was never meant to be reduced to a series of curated posts or fleeting likes. Your purpose, joy, and fulfillment are far greater than anything a screen can offer. So the next time you reach for your phone, pause and ask yourself, am I using this to enrich my life, or am I letting it control me?